My friends, it's been way too long. Please pardon the deeper voice than usual. I have, not a, sore throat, not a cough, but I am just a little bit under the weather this week. The snow has given me quite a bunch of stress, and frankly, my voice has just gone bleh. But I am back. It has been a little while, and I know I promised, that I would upload the rest of my Dark Souls stuff, or at least upload some more of it, right before the new year hit, but I went on vacation. I gotta tell you, I didn't get a thing done. Got my room cleaned, so that was really cool. Anyway, as you can see, we're not here for Dark Souls today. We're here for one of my favorite games of all time, Resident Evil 2. And I don't just mean this one, I mean the original. The original holds a really special place in my heart. And today, what we are here for, number one, is to do a speed run of the second story run, and I'll tell you why, because I am obsessed with this game, and as you may be able to tell, I have done all the records, and you might also notice that it doesn't take all the records to get all the trophies, which means that I'm just insane, and I decided I needed to do those anyway. But not only did I need to do all of that, no, I also decided that I wanted to get S pluses across the board. Now, a couple of these I got because, as you can see for these hardcore runs here, I wanted to get the infinite rocket launcher and the infinite minigun. And then these ones were just kind of for funsies. I did this one the other day. As you can see, I've met the requirements and more. So now, what I wanted to do for you, since I already did Claire for that one, is I'm going to go ahead and run through the Claire standard on the second run. That having been said, I'd be advised that if you haven't played this yet and you don't want spoilers or anything, I would not play this, or I would not watch this video right now, anyway, because some things happen way sooner, and for the most part, I'm going to be running through pretty much everything they show in the game. Just again, a couple events are out of order, and then they skip quite a bit too. Plus, they change around the puzzles just a trifle. That having been said, I love this costume, so that's the one we're going to be playing with here. And again, we're going to do new game second run, and this time we're just going to do standard because, God help me, if I don't have to do a hardcore run again, I'm not gonna. Although, I will be honest with you, I am quite the fan of this game, and I do like the challenge, so it's kind of fun just to play through. But I'm actually really thankful that we're doing standard this time. What's the difference between standard and hardcore? Well, the difference between standard and hardcore is that instead of being able to just save any old time, you get ink ribbons, which, as you because I've already done the S plus runs where you can only save 3 times, and I have tried saving in several different places, and I think I found the run that actually works for me. It's risky as hell, but of course these Resident Evil 2 speedruns are, you know? And the hardest part, just so you know, is actually the beginning, before your first save. Because if you screw up and you don't have that save yet, it's like, well, you just gotta start over from the beginning. That sucks, right? I can relate to that. Everybody can relate to that. Why am I doing this today? Because my buddy Jared was like, you should do a video on Resident Evil 2. You talk about it like you love it so much, and I'm like, by God, you're right. I'm also probably gonna do a video about all the little different Easter eggs I've noticed along the way. I checked out a video the other day to see if there's any I was missed, and indeed there were a couple. Stuff that I wouldn't have actually looked that closely for. I'm not the biggest person when it comes to noticing crap like that, so but with games like this, being that it is one of my all-time favorites, of course there's stuff that I noticed. I love Resident Evil. I love classic Resident Evil more than that, and there's just a lot that this game has to offer. You might be noticing that I'm being very particular about where I put certain things in my inventory and my shortcuts. That's because, believe it or not, this shit does matter. Now, I will say, for the record, oh boy, I didn't equip the gun yet, did I? That did not go exactly the way that I thought it was going to go, but I'm not going to lie, I kind of like the way that went. For this run, I honestly don't know how many saves I'm limited to for the S plus ranking on standard, but I'm going to assume the worst and say that we are probably limited once again to 3. Again, I can't confirm or disfirm that, but that's what we're going with. It's imperative when you're doing these speed runs, that you know exactly where all your items are and what to do with them. I think. Because you need to know, okay, how much space do I need coming up, and how much of this do I need, and how much of that. Do I need any healing items? Probably want to plan for a couple if, for say, you're going through a hallway that you know Mr. X is going to be, or like a big bunch of zombies. Now me, I've done this so many times that I'm going to make this kind of look easy. And yeah, that's being a little bit of a braggart, and you know what? I have the right to be because I love this game, and it turns out I'm fairly decent at this game. Once again, if you haven't played the main campaign yet, and you're watching this, I mean, please, feel free. God knows that I love a good audience, and I know at least one person who'll be watching this. PJ likes to remind me to not get so down on myself, but realistic with myself. I'm like, you know, there's so many people to watch on YouTube, like, you might as well just watch your favorites. I mean, then again, I'm the person that tends to replay the same games over and over again, so I'm not really one much to talk with that. Whew. Now, once again, I know that we are going for just under 3 hours on the standard run, but I'm thinking, when all's said and done, I'm gonna just go for the usual too, because I want you to get some benefit out of this. Oh shit. That's not good. Well, it's not quite what I had in mind. Where is the cop?
What is up with you?
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-bye. You might also notice the soundtrack's a little bit askew. For those of you that's bought the deluxe edition, I don't know if they actually released it as a regularly buyable thing or not. By the way, you'll notice me pause a couple times too because excuse me, right into the mic. I'm such a jerk. That's important, because if you're really trying to evaluate what it is you're trying to do, you might want to say to yourself, maybe it's about that time that we go ahead and decide what we need, what we don't need, because if you just go into your inventory, guess what? That counts as game time. That kind of sucks. I wouldn't advise it. Now, why am I slowing down here, you might be wondering to yourself. That's because, in the second run, they went classic Resi 2 with it, and they put the lick on, as it were, and kind of giving a throwback, because they also put one in a location that belonged in Resi 2 original in the second run. So, again, the attention to detail is very nice. I'm a very big fan, and I will never stop fangirling over this game till the day I die. Also, they're releasing some new content coming up, and, you know, I'll be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure, I never was entirely sure, whether or not I actually wanted to do a, shoot, do I actually want to grab that yet? Probably not. Yeah, it's fine. I wasn't sure whether or not I wanted to do an actual recording of this, because, I mean, there's once again, there's a lot of people on YouTube that actually take the time to record all these things, and God bless them, that's awesome, because they know that you guys, and me, will watch that crap. And I don't mean crap as in like, oh, I'm just calling what they do crap. What I mean is like, you'll watch it, fuck you, rated R for pirates. Anyway, give me just a second. I am very grateful that they kept the combinations to these things the same between the first and second runs. But I wasn't sure that I wanted to do it because I, as a lover of this game, was going to take my time with it. And I knew that if it was me watching it, I wouldn't want to watch somebody taking their time with it. I'd want to watch somebody enjoying it, sure, but, I mean, just taking their sweet-ass time? I don't know. I wasn't quite sure about that. Careful where you go. I happen to have done the runs for, like, trophy sake and everything, and I think maybe even one of the records was for it, where you had to, here he comes! There comes my buddy. What a jackass. You really have to know, once again, what you're putting in, what you're not. Now, notice, what I'm keeping, what I'm not keeping. It's all important, I assure you. I assure you very much so. And it's also important to note that because Inara, Gideon. I swear that cat never actually goes up there, but sometimes she'll just be like, you know, today's the day. Today's the day that I try to do something to piss Mom off. It's not easy for her to because I love her so very much. Inara's my cat, by the way, if I didn't mention that. I'm not just talking about getting pissed off at my kid or anything. Although I do have plenty of kiddos in my life, and they've made me mad on occasion. Now the question is, yep, there she goes. You might have noticed, I didn't opt to go a certain route first, the way you ought to be going, and there's a reason for that. Once again, everything you do counts. Now, if this was going to be like a 14,000 steps run, first and foremost, let's get this right, I would not have been going for the second run anyway, because the second run's just a little bit goddamn bananas. I'm not worried about the steps I'm taking. What I am worried about is time, and in addition to time, I'm worried about mentality. Now, for example, there are places you want to realize we're not coming back to again. We're never going to see that room again on the 3rd floor. We're never going to see this hallway again. This room we will, because that's just part of the game. It's how it's played. We have to see it. But for example, that one hallway, yeah, we're never going to see that first hallway that we went through with that liquor in it. Never going to see it again. It's just gone forever. And you have to be aware of what it is you're doing for the sake of time. Now, why are we in the library already? Well, we picked up the key, so that killed that already. And also, you'll notice that the knife is infinitely more useful on these lower difficulties. But it is important to clear out this library, I find. It is extremely important, because if you don't, well, for those of you who have played, I've already given the spoiler warning. If you're in here with Mr. X and you got zombies walking around too, I mean, fuck me, that is just, that is some kind of personal hell. I am just not about that. By the way, how fucking sadistic is it that you can see, like, every slash mark in these things? Now check that out. I still have a lot of this knife left, which is really nice. Which means that I'm actually going to have the opportunity to take out a couple more zombies than previously. Again, we're only doing standard. And down goes a ledger. In poor taste? You bet your ass it was. Obviously because of the pallet jack. I don't know if that's technically what it is, but that's what I'm calling it. I know you have to get a jack for it. You know what? I think it's a pallet jack. Anyway, even though it's a mini little version of it or whatever, you can't do all the movements for this, but you can damn well do most of them that you're able to, and then you only have like 2 left once you actually insert the jack. Puzzles are different. I do little alliterations in my head. I think it was Kid Scale Worm? No. Yeah. Once again, it's extremely important that you grab everything that you can, so that when you're doing your other parts of the run, you can fill your pockets with as much stuff as you possibly can. Also, this isn't necessary, but I like to put all the usable items that I'm going to be using near the top or somewhere that I can actually have access to them, so I'm not thumbing through them forever. That's up to you. If you want to do that, I mean, go for it, honestly. You have to remember that I'm at the mercy of the PS4 recording system. I don't have any fancy tech. All I can do is do what I do to start recording, which is the double tap. Because if I do the single one, it just doesn't work out well for me. This one is Crown Firefly. That's how I remember it. So not really an alliteration, is it? But rather, if I go ahead and go this way... Uh-oh. Oh boy. So, here's another thing about this game, is I would be remiss if I didn't mention you want to play with a headset. It's so important, because otherwise you're missing so much of the good stuff. Key example being Mr. X's footsteps. Now, I'm not saying that because the audio is just freaking awesome, because the audio is freaking awesome, but because if you're really trying to play this for the first time and you're really trying to stay hidden and understand where that thing is, or anything for that matter. Oh no! I didn't mean to grab that. Shit. Wait, did I? No, I guess I did. This is a problem. Run! Oh my god! That's a problem. Oh, that scared the piss out of me. Marvin, I'm sorry, buddy. Now, merrily we roll along. Here's the cool thing about these speedruns. Cutscenes do not play into the overall time, which is great. Jesus. Here's the problem. If you get hit on hardcore, you're getting put into danger state most of the time. The only exceptions to that rule are dogs and like Mr. X, but I don't believe the whole Mr. X thing. Not for one fucking second. Because Mr. X is powerful. He's a powerful, powerful dude. Once again, I'm gonna do my best to actually put all this crap down here. Maybe that, and that over here, and there you go. Also, don't be afraid to say fuck you to the zombies. Not once. Oh, also, it's important to have the guns where you want the guns to be. Sounds a little dumb, maybe. I don't think so, though. I think to myself, when I hear that, I think, fuck you. What do you do that's so great? Once again, you want to be really sure. Now, last time, dumb ol' Sydney forgot the valve handle and the electronic gadget, rather. And that's not good. You don't want to do that, because that's fucking stupid. Don't do that. That's bad. And drugs are by it. Okay. Pretty much all we can do at this point. Holy shit.
Asshole. Shit.
Now here's the thing. You kind of have dealer's choice at this point in the game. Because you could go ahead, and you could get one of the other upgrades. I'm not going to need it as much. The upgrade pouch that I'm talking about avoiding, for the sake of time, and for not having to go back through a hallway that's eventually going to be infested with a liquor, even though we do have to go back there at some point, I'm talking about the one in the safety deposit room. That one, every one of them is necessary, let's be honest with each other, but not really necessary, I guess, in that sense of the word. Does that make sense? That's really all I can say about that. Oh no!
Stay back.
Here's another reason why I like the classic soundtrack. Because a lot of people, like myself, initially never made it to the second scenario. I didn't know that there was a second scenario. Which is a lie, because it never really registered in my mind. When you save in the original Resident Evil, let's get this right, you actually get a save file that's called Second Scenario, so it'd be damn near impossible for you not to get wind of that, right? I just didn't really realize what it was for a little while, but I did do everything in the original one, and I do mean everything. Believe you me. Now, there was a time in the main campaign where I would have just left that, but because of the way the second scenario is set up, it's set up in such a way that you actually have access to some of the things you did not before, and I'd be remiss. You'd have to be a complete dum-dum, in other words. Some kind of a dum-dum. Anyway. Now, what does that mean? It means, well, use that. And don't leave anything behind if you don't have to. That's what I say. There's not really going to be any liquors in this hallway. Now, the other thing is, that hallway right there, you'd really have to, like, bring everything with you, and it's just too much backtracking if you're looking for time. As you can see on the screen in the beginning, when I showed you the results screen, I finished at 1 hour 55. Now, something that good old Sydney didn't take into consideration when doing the speed run for the second run is the fact that there's that extra boss right at the end there, which does, believe it or not, add some time onto there. So it's kind of imperative that you have that planned out. And also, the problem with that clear run is that once you have that second boss, you can't just kill it with any old, like, submachine gun ammo or handgun ammo, grenades. I know, I tried. You gotta have the Gatling gun. Now, is it absolutely necessary? No. But, I mean, I can't say that yes or no with any degree of accuracy. I'm just saying, for our purposes, I don't think it's entirely as necessary as we would think.
You bastard.
Sometimes you'll be waiting forever for him, and you'll get impatient, you'll get antsy, and you're like, oh, we should probably just fucking bail. Wouldn't recommend that as much either, because then who knows if you're gonna run headfirst into him. As you can see, I'm not too worried about him. I've been playing this game for hours and hours and hours. I don't know what my stats are on how long I've been playing this game, but I bet you I could figure it out if I really looked. That said, yeah, this is just how much of a speedrunner I am by this point. Now, I feel a little bit more comfortable because of the whole fact of having done this on hardcore, being familiar with it now. Oh, God! What have I done? Alright, so here's the big important thing. Keep that. Get rid of that. I feel like bring a couple of those, but probably not too many. As for some machine gun ammo, I'd say bring it. Probably store most of those. Yeah, go ahead and use 2 on them, I'd say. But the important thing here is that we actually... we're gonna get rid of that. This is again why I say have all that together. And really, really think about your inventory. Very important, that. You notice that I'm not saving before a boss fight. Why? Again, because I'm crazy. But at the same time, I'm not, because, again, you only get... Just gonna tell you right here and now, I don't save until the sewers right before the... No, I think right before I get to the G-adults. Last time I didn't actually read what this does, but I'm guessing it adds more firepower. Acts as a counterweight to greatly reduce muzzle rise. Do you need it? It's hit or miss. But I do it because, you know, why not? Also, take that grenade, because why not? Here's the other thing. If you know you're never returning to an area again, and you can say that about this area in the second run for sure, especially if you're speedrunning it, and look how good we're doing, we're at 23 minutes, you might as well pick up everything, and if you have to make room for something else that you want, go ahead and get rid of it. But better to have picked it up and not need it, than to not have picked it up and need it. Just like anything in life, really. Totally aliens, by the way. This is why I really like the military fatigue outfit Claire, because between Claire and Sherry and the G reproducing like a chest burster thing, you'll see what I mean if you play the game. It's pretty hard to miss. Boop, 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 boop. The important thing is not to let him catch ya. Like that, for example. However, as you might also be able to tell, not as worried about it, me. Oh. Kind of important to have a loaded gun. And again, to know where he is. Come on, bitch. Come on, buddy. Very important to focus on the eyes with him. Now, this one was a lot easier because it's on standard. Mind you, lately my runs on hardcore haven't been that bad either. And I have to tell you, if you're trying to do this on hardcore, and you're like, Sydney, what the heck do I do? The difference is not that much. I think on standard you're getting a little more ammo, but the thing about second run you gotta remember anyways, it's already harder, right? So just picture this, but harder and with less upgrades as far as weapons and inventory goes anyway, because again, now, hang on a second. This is standard, so I don't think there are ink ribbons. So I might have screwed myself with a couple of pickups, but that's okay. I'm pretty sure, anyway. I know I did this on standard. But anyway, with that in mind, it's possible, then, that the upgrade locations are still in the same place. So we'll see.
Well, hopefully you'll get to see her again.
And I gotta tell you, the only ink ribbons you'll ever need are the ones you can get in that first little save room area we found. Not the first one, but the second one. Because there's 3 of them, and you get exactly 3 saves. That having been said, ink ribbons aren't exactly scarce. If you find a typewriter, it's not a problem. You'll get a hold of them.
Okay.
You may have noticed is I did kind of a fuck up. I did a dumb. I did not deposit the unnecessary things in the safety deposit box, or the item box. Either way, it's bad. I didn't do it. The reason I'm doing this stupid inventory check thing like a numbnuts is because I really am dumb. And I forgot. Why does this matter? You ask yourself. And me. The reason is because it doesn't matter as much for Claire, because she won't get as much stuff in this hallway as Leon will. But still, like I said, it's important to keep your inventory clear of the things you don't need so you can get everything you possibly can. That said, I think I have a couple opportunities for mixing. I already mixed that, so that's fine. Nobody cares about that. And we already have a green herb, so for example, we could get this red herb and not have a problem. That was a fluke, by the way. I meant to mix that, but I didn't mean to do it that awesomely, let us say. With that said, guys, this guy's gotta die. There have been times on the second run especially, but hardcore more so, falls the side of the door, and that doesn't work for me. It really doesn't. So here's the thing. There's so many ways we could go with this. Truth be told, at the end of the day, that guy's gonna jump off no matter what. So, that leaves us with an option. What we could do is we could get rid of our handgun ammo, because damn the handgun ammo, and also it's standard, so who cares? Really, at the end of the day, that's my recommended approach, because once we go through this again, there's not going to be too much to worry about. So, I'm going to do something pretty ballsy, and just ditch the handgun ammo, because I'd rather have grenades than handgun ammo, frankly. And that's just Sydney being Sydney. Or I could go ahead and get rid of these health items, but again, I'd rather have a health item than unnecessary ammo. So, here we go. Oh my god! Oh, he jumped off the table. Who could have seen that one coming, huh? And that guy's already burnt crispy, so nobody cares. But Sydney, how do we get past these lickers? Well, good thing I took the time to flashbang! They might slash you in their writhing agony. Oh god! That's not exactly how I wanted it to go. See what I mean? Didn't decide to go the other way on that?
Must be where that guy came
I think it's incredibly important that that's what we decided to go with. Myself. I don't remember what that is. Oh yeah. The whole upgrade thing for the grenade launcher, it seems like a good idea at first glance. It's not bad, but I'm gonna be honest with you. You don't need it. The shotgun stock and its upgrades are good, because one of them actually gives the shotgun blast a powerful thing, and as long as you're making the shotgun twice as big for your inventory's sake, you might as well just go all the way, I say. To fucking Victory Town, as Sean would say. Sydney, you're such a hipster. You called him Sean instead of Jacksepticeye. It's because it's his fucking name. Why don't you show a little consideration? Come on, guys. Make up your mind. I'm a little slap happy because I'm really glad to be able to share this with you. By the way, 3159. Not too bad for having gone through all that. I'll take that. Normally, again, that would have been an ink ribbon. But it's not. And since I happen to know that by looking around for one of those files that I missed earlier, that there's actually a first aid spray and some machine gun ammo in a place I never would have thought to look as Claire, because why would you? I think, in the end, I am going to stick with not worrying about the handgun right now. Russ. By the way, decide right here and now whether or not you're going to use that diamond key again. Are you going to use the diamond key again? Because there's really only 2 more places you can use it, and I'm not going to use it on either of them. So, off we go. That said, cautionary states... And in my opinion, guys, you're going to want to use the first aid sprays more than the green herbs because you want that mixing potential. I'm not going to use it now because I'm in a caution state. I don't care. But later, that's going to come into play. That said, I think I'll do the right thing and switch that to the right slot. So that means that this guy on the left can be where it needs to be. I'll put you where you need to go, and you over here. And I'll save room for my green herbs. And that, as they say, is that. And I'll give you a tour of Spira while I'm at it. I've also been playing too much Final Fantasy X. Now, you might also notice, I'm not going to need the heart key for as much as I think I will. However, even though I might not be using it because fuck the rest of that trek, I'm still going to want to use it, so to say, because then I'll free up an inventory slot once I use it on the final place. That's important. Know where your keys are going to be useless so that you can properly discard them. You might also notice that I'm not getting an annoying tutorial pop up every 20 seconds. That's because I found out that there is a way to turn that shit off. Because guess what, game? I know how to mix herbs. I know how to do that. Don't patronize me. Don't do that to me. That's rude. Rude, rude, rude. That's not cool, dude. You need to know where the damn boxes are. And as Claire, it's a little bit easier than the other way around. You might also notice that I'm trying to save a little bit of time. Not much. A little bit. Thing is, guys, very important I find.
What is up with you?
Burn for it. Really?
What the fuck?
Do 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 do. Do. And, oh, by the way, why are we grabbing that? We don't need it. Great question, right? I concur. You don't gotta grab. In my case, this is gonna be a cakewalk. Now, why on God's green earth they decided that Leon's ladder should break and not Claire's, that's beyond me. That's beyond my realm of understanding. That's not for people like me to know. What is for me to know is that there's 2 free health items here, and I'm gonna fucking take them. Don't waste your ammo, but don't be afraid to use your ammo either. It's kind of important across all fronts. Are you wanting to lay in my lap, kitty? Is that what you're wanting to do? I feel like that's what you want to do. Just by looking at you. Or do you just want to pets? I'll give you sock pets. Socked feet pets. You have food. don't know why you're acting like food. Hey, also, did you happen to notice? I forgot something. I know what it is. Do you? Oh, shit. About. Your inventory fills up pretty quickly here. Thing to keep in mind is that heart key is going to go bye-bye in a hot second. Now in standard, once again, this stuff doesn't matter as much, but it will later on. Oh no! Who could have foreseen this happening? What a terrible happenstance. You might wonder why I gave it so long. I'm not actually trying to tease the tyrant, because you just don't fuck with Mr. X. It is still intimidating to this day, even though I'm doing a speed run. Just because I've done everything I can in the game, including all the tofu iterations, doesn't mean that I know entirely what I'm doing all the time. I mean, I know what I'm doing, but it doesn't mean I can't get scared of Mr. X, because screw you, of course I can get scared by Mr. X. He's made to get scared by. Don't do it. Boop 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 a doop boop a doop. Boop boop a doop. There's Marvin. Good old Marv. Whoa, boy. Very careful. We're being careful. We're being careful. Now. There he comes. Oh! Very important to have everything you need. You better turn around. Okay. Oh boy. Oops. Goodbye. Boop 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 doo 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 boop boop doo. I'm also not as worried about switching to submachine gun at this point because I know once again that I'm going to be getting more ammo, not just from pickups, but from mixing, hopefully. Hopefully. I actually got a little bit more space here than I thought originally. It's not going too bad, I'd say. Part of the problem with headphones, whether it's the earbuds that go in your ears or the big ones like I'm finally using now, when you have hair and glasses, is that hair tends to get behind your glasses, in your ears. It's not great. While we're waiting for him to go, not that that'll pass any time, for him moving, we'll just go ahead and do this. There he is. Oh, God. Mom just hit Dad. Oh, no. Poor Mr. X. He's walking around all confused. He's like, well, what the hell, man? It's a locked door. I can't go through locked doors. Open doors, walls, you name it. I've swung them all, sister. But a locked door, I mean, let's be reasonable. I'm an assassin, not a machine. Goodbye. Oh boy, I heard that too. Boop boop boo doo 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 boop boo doo. Very interesting mechanics that door should be shut for Claire, not so much for Leon. Because Leon has a handle. It does give a good gameplay variety, and they did that in the original too. They both had differing paths, but ultimately they're working towards the same goal. Alright, so the question here is, do. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that should also get you your, a jewel amongst jewels thingamajig. Which is doing that puzzle in, like, 8 to 10 moves or less or something like that. Kinda got methodical about that, too. This is a hell of a challenge to do. I wouldn't recommend doing it on the second run. I would do it on the first run standard. Or hardcore. The puzzle's always the same, but in second run they change it up just a little bit. Oh boy. The challenge I speak of, by the way, is the one where you actually have to do this in under a minute. You have to, at the second you're in control of Sherry, turn around, get the doll, open the doll, go to the puzzle, do the thing, crouch under the door. And it doesn't pop right away. You really have to, like, hit the pause thing or something. I don't remember. Anyway, it's quite obnoxious. We're at 45 minutes, almost 46 now, which is where you want to be. You want to hit those sewers no later than an hour in the second run. The thing about the second run, second story, second side, side B, whatever you want to call it, it's been called a couple different things in this game, the other game, and by fans. I like B-side because I'm a music fan. But the thing you want to keep in mind is, obviously, as you can see, a couple events in this game are expedited. Including getting those medallions and getting downstairs first. You don't have as much to do there. And you'll see in the lab, you actually get that electronic device, like, right at the start, too, which helps save a lot of time. So, it's not quite as impossible as one would think. It does seem quite unlikely.
Oh no, it's him.
So, interesting thing to note, apparently there was a post, like an article, that Capcom was tracking the stats of everything, and apparently people spent a lot of time looking at the mayor's daughter there. who is getting her own DLC coming up here, so that's pretty cool. A little bit of time looking at her, but not for the creepy reason you might think, because I was looking at the model, and I was like, wait a minute, why is there blood on her? Like, I know the truth behind why she's there, and what kind of a creep Brian Irons is, because I played the original. And they didn't happen to go into that yet in this game. Hopefully they do in the DLC, even though he's already enough of a creep in this game. Bravo to them for making him even more unlikable. Yeah, I forgot that it's because she got bit by a zombie, and he was just like, oh, just save her. Save her from the horrible zombie fate. Now she's at peace. Or you're just a creep. Seriously, I hate this guy.
Show yourself. I know you're in here.
I also hate this part because I have huge anxiety.
The worse it's gonna be.
Fuck you. Suffice it to say, I haven't saved yet, as you can see. Might not even have to. You'd have to be a stupid motherfucker to go after William and Annette Birkin's kid. I understand why he's doing it. It's just like, dude, you know that... Well, again, spoilers.
This is your last fucking chance. Show yourself. Now.
No. No.
It burns.
Oh, Beavis and Butthead, you're expelled. Oh. You little bastards. Turn around. Now, I'm not as worried about this in this because it's standard mode, and there is an autosave, as you can see. In hardcore, there is not. So, do take care not to get caught here if you're going to be as ballsy as I am, not saving until this point. Oh, I keep forgetting that door's locked. I just did this last night. I don't know why I'm forgetting all this stuff. I'm coming in, Sherry. Here's creepy.
Get over here, bitch.
Hey.
Just you wait, asshole.
Now, the first time I played this game in Claire's scenario because I love Claire. I love me some Claire. My friend Tyler, I've told you about many times, he is the world's biggest Jill fan. And she's cool. Respectably. Understandably so. But I love me some Claire. And that's just the way that I go. Is Team Claire. That's all. Anyway, having had Chief Iron's office there as a locale, I was always worried that Tyrant was going to be making his way in. I know now that I don't think he can get in, but still, it's a little unnerving. By the way, 5123, not doing too bad, everything considered. You'll notice I don't have a lot of health items with me here right now either. That is because I have a feeling we're going to be getting just plenty. That said, it is still a little bit ballsy to be not saving with all this stuff going on, standard or not. But I understand how the game works, so. Trigger, get the zombies aggroed, and pray that you don't get caught. Byzies! Oh, I mean, Byzies.
Looks like the only way forward.
Now this is a really great testament to the remake that this is. I love the fact that in the beginning, yeah, you go through the city a little bit, but you don't go through all the locations. Now, I'm not saying I love that specifically. What I'm saying is they make up for it because they put those locations here for Claire's run. Bye. Ah! By the way, when it comes to the subject of dogs, stand and fight as little as necessary. If you got you some infinite ammo weapons, go for it. But especially on these speed runs, and especially on hardcore, don't bother. Just don't. Just run. It's not worth it. Because you will probably get overrun. It's no good for anybody, right? Just go. I mean, look at this. I got like several health items already. Thought I saw a zombie there for a second. Not just a zombie dog. This is actually the first time I've gotten hit by one of those things, and this is on standard. I've been doing all these hardcore runs. And see, they left the bus in. That said, you do have a little bit more to do, and you'll notice I'm kind of zigzagging like a dumbass, but there's a method to my madness. It helps avoid things. Please excuse me. You see what I mean? I got plenty of ammo. And it's only like 54.5 minutes in. We're actually doing really good on time this time.
Sherry, are you here?
And we're doing really good on inventory space, but that's because it's standard, not hardcore, and some of the biggest upgrade items are not replaced by ink ribbons. That's a creepy letter, by the way. That's very unfortunate. I don't think any of that was really mentioned in the old Resident Evil 2. This is a whole new element that adds some terrible stuff. Also, cribs. If you look at the concept art for this, there was like a whole room full of cribs, and I'm like, I couldn't have done that. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, they had an element to this where basically this orphanage was a place that was, of course, because why not, financed by Umbrella, and Chief Irons, Chief Douchebag himself, chest burster. You see? That's just disrespectful.
Sherry, where are you? Claire, Sherry, I'll be right there.
Hey!
Go, go, go! Claire, it's behind you. Don't stop.
Another thing to keep in mind here is you'll notice that I'm limping along. I'm just in this mindset of if I'm not in danger,
Sherry, come on.
nothing's gonna hit me that's gonna take me from caution to dead.